An update on the Tinder Project. Teal and I play hot seat and why he committed to the next woman after you. We'll see you right after this. G'day and welcome to the Tinder Project, the podcast where a straight Aussie man attempts to survive 365 days dating online as an American woman. I'm your host, Mark Rosenfeld, Australia's dating coach for women. I'm here with my sidekick, self-love coach, Teal Elizabeth, and together we have one mission: to make meeting good men fun and easy for you. Let's give it a bell. Teal.
Hi, Mark.
Hello, friend. Episode 33.
Yes, I was just noticing that. I was like, this is so exciting. 33 to me is like such a magical universe number, and wrapping up for a season, almost the season finale of the Tinder Project. It's crazy.
I know. Can I ask, why is 33 a magical number?
There's so many. I don't have the actual legitimate understanding of what makes it so magical. I just know that it is. That's my truth.
So specific. Love the logic there. I dated this girl back in the day, and she would always point at the clock at random times and be like, "That's so magical, look at the time." And it would be 1:11 or 3:16 or 4:44. She'd point at the freaking clock six times a day. I'm like, that's cute, but
it's your angels, it's your ways of angels communicating with you. So like I literally, my clients will text me about this and be like, I keep seeing this number, and I'm like, yeah, that means that I literally just pulled this up. The angel numbers and the meanings for each one. So 333 means your spiritual guides are around you, sending you love and support. 111 is trust your gut and listen to your heart. I know, you're just rolling.
I think you could swap the numbers around and they'd still be good advice. I hate to say it.
444 is protection. The universe and your guides are protecting you. 555 means change. But no, I seriously, I believe in all this stuff. Like, I remember I was seeing 555 constantly in like February of 2020. And I was like, why do I keep seeing 555, 555, 555, which means like change is imminent, change is coming. And then bam! And my whole life just got uprooted, and like I had to move from Bali back to the United States and like change my whole life. And it was, so it's like your angels warning you the big things are coming.
Do you have a favorite number, Teal?
I do. 11. Yeah.
11's your favorite number.
And it's been my favorite number since I knew numbers, like since I was like 3 years old.
11's your favorite number.
I can't explain it.
A certain symmetry to those two lines next to each other that makes you happy.
Well, 11 is an angel number. Yeah.
Wait, how many angel numbers are there? They can't all be angel numbers, Teal.
It's the repeating number.
Is there any... Hang on. There has to be a polarity here. So if there's an angel number, is there a devil number?
Oh.
You can't have it just one side of a polarity.
Oh, I never thought about that. I know. A lot of this sounds hokey pokey bogus bullshit, but it makes me happy.
I'm happy that it makes you happy. Out of curiosity, do you believe in psychics?
I believe in psychic mediums, as in like people that can channel messages from the divine and from angels, yes. But do I believe in a lot of the people that call themselves psychics and like try and make money off of people for telling them their future? No. So that's a non-answer as well.
That's fair. I've seen psychics do some pretty crazy things. I did read one book by a guy who was a cold reader. He was basically an expert in reading people, and I've always been a little skeptical since I read that, because some of the stuff he could do, he explained how he did it and how he did these reads on people, and they look psychic. So I'm a little skeptic since I read that book, but there's definitely some stuff I see that's hard to explain.
Yes, I am deep in the spiritual world, and I have an energy healer shaman woman that I go to see, and she, from the moment I met her, was able to tell me things about myself, about my past lives that like deeply resonated in my soul without ever meeting me.
So she's legit. What's her name?
Yeah, her name is Brenda.
Shout out to you, Brenda. Doing it for the real psychics out there, making a good name for the
And
for
she's
the
been able
career.
to like really help me make peace with this birth and like help me move through my own fears and traumas around like doing a natural birth, and like, you know, regardless of if it's channeled from angels or if it's just giving me wisdom that I need to hear right now, it's all important.
I think that the skeptic in me says that sometimes a psychic is a therapist in a different body that tell you things you need to hear when you need to hear them.
Yeah.
And there's value in that, even if it's not the way it's sold.
Exactly. And maybe people are more receptive to hearing it if it's coming from spirit versus then just some lady talking to you and being like, you need to shift your mindset around this.
Right.
But
right.
yeah.
My
okay.
out of
you
interest.
You don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept it.
I accept there's something spooky going on there, but I'm definitely skeptical of similar people that you're skeptics of as well. I will say my favorite number is 631, Teal. 631. Why are you laughing at my favorite number?
Just for a double number, I think that would be it.
If there was a what? No, that's really mean. Wow.
Gotta have the polarity, right?
631 is my lucky number. You know why? Because
made that up.
No, I didn't. 631 it's the number where I met my best friend. He's still my best friend to this day, and it happened to be the apartment that Sam and I had our first date in. So I have two really memories from number 631. So interesting. Yeah, I always notice that number now. Okay, this is not the intended topic of the podcast, guys. I don't know how we got so badly derailed here. I'm going to try and get us back now. We're doing the Tinder Project. It is the second last episode of the season, so I'm very excited to present to you preliminary results before the final season finale episode next week. And so far, Teal, we have been filtering for men. I'm just going to read you out a little bit of the results we've had so far. Now, we've moved over to Hinge, and on Hinge, we have the same profile as we've had on the other two sites. We, of course, shortened it, though, as in the same bio, same photos. We did shorten it, though, because on Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, even Match.com, they have much longer bios where you can really get some meat in there and get someone to read about yourself. Hinge has even less than Tinder. You've got 3 prompts. I believe they're 150 characters each. There's very little to work with. So I had to really finagle to get the key things we want to filter for within those 3 questions. We did do it, though. And it's been really interesting so far. So we are about 14 to 15 days in. The guys in general are more attractive, as in the average profile is a better profile. So Hinge, definitely compared to OkCupid or Plenty of Fish, where it's a real mess. Hinge has more consistent guys. What has been interesting is that not as many of them answer the question correctly. As in, lots of guys will say, I'm looking for someone who's drama-free, I'm looking for someone who's pretty, or they don't give an answer, I'm looking for all of the above. So I was joking around with my clients. They're sort of pretty, but not that smart so far. But I will say, when I say that, we've gone from, on OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, maybe 70% of the guys answered the question correctly and got to chat with us. On Hinge, it's more like 50%. So it's not like there's none. There's just a notable downgrade in guys who don't get the question right, which I couldn't help but chuckle at.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of, and I think probably it's a combination of, there's probably guys with more options there. There's guys who are a little bit less dorky or less geeky, so they feel like they don't need to read the profile, or they don't really think about this stuff as much, whereas guys who are maybe a bit more dorky, a bit more geeky, have to work a bit harder, end up on these other websites and actually put in the effort. Overall, we've had guys who have answered the question correctly, who live in the right area, and who have ended up in conversation with us, and who are graded A or B, as A, B, C, or D, so they've got a good grade. We've had so far, in 14 days, we've had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 actually. So we've had quite a lot. 17 guys, A or B, answer the question, compatible. So that's been really good. Because they're well filtered now. I will say again, of those 17, not as many yet have converted to dates. I'm noticing more of a drop-off than on the other websites. On the other websites, it was like, if they got to chat, almost all of them wanted a date. On this one, we've definitely lost a few along the way. Obviously, the messages are a little bit more structured. They're asking value-based questions. They're a little bit less feminine. So far, we've given our number to 6 of the guys, with I'd say probably 4 more to happen tomorrow or the next day. So that'll be 10 out of 17. So that's not too bad. And so far, we've had 3 dates, but I'm expecting a couple more to come through today. So that should be about 5 dates. So pretty good. Again, I think just the slightly better-looking people put in slightly less effort. So when you really stand out on a weaker website, the top guys will notice you more, and even the not so top guys will put in more effort. On Hinge, it's probably a little harder to stand out, even with really great photos. So we're getting a little bit of drop off, and I do only log on once a day. So there's that delay between messages. So all in all, Hinge is going well. We've got 17 really solid potential guys who are compatible. Looks like probably by the end of it, half of them will turn into a date, which is 8 dates in 21 days with qualified compatible guys who are A or B. Great. By my clients, not by Mark. By my clients. So all in all, I think it's really cool. And the cool part about this strategy, Teal, is basically all the messages are, they're mostly copy-paste. I mean, I tweaked them a little bit, but you change the name, you add one sentence, bam, 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 bam. Done.
Yeah. That's really interesting because it sounds like you're saying there's a lot more A and B rated guys. Because I know on the other site you were saying there's a lot more kind of B's and C's that you were seeing.
Yeah, we've had 3 A's so far this month. And my clients, they're honest women. They don't give an A out easily. And we do majority rules. So if 2 give A's, 3 give B's, it's a B. So we've had 3 A's and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, about 14 B's so far this month. Wow. The A's have all been more recent, so we'll see if those turn into matches. But we definitely saw we're seeing a higher attractive person ratio on Hinge, but we're seeing a lower question answer and a bit lower follow through on Hinge. I think it's going to work out better on Hinge because there's just more people in general. Yeah. But it's actually working. It's filtering pretty well. Yeah.
Even with the really adamant questions and the straightforward responses, yeah.
Yeah. All the bio now, there is no fun in the bio. We're still presenting the information in an attractive way. So it's not like you need to be this or leave me alone. No, don't ever do that. It's a very attractive way that we've done it. We've got the right emoji in the right place, or we've got the upbeat. We've got, it's very inviting still. It's not meet my standards or leave. So it's super inviting, but it also makes clear if you want to chat, answer this question. I can't wait to hear your answer. So we don't have much bio room.
I don't know if you were able to pull this up really quickly, but I think that could be really helpful for women listening to hear what you wrote in the bio.
Oh, I can.
How to model that. Because that's the finesse, right? How do we communicate our needs and our boundaries and our standards in a way that is attractive?
That is the finesse. So let me show you if I can bring up Sam's
either showing
profile.
or just reading it if you have it.
I think probably reading it's easier because otherwise we'll get into a bunch of techness, which we don't. No one's interested in that.
And just while you're getting that up, like I know how difficult it is when you have a blank screen and you're like, how am I supposed to represent myself in 3 sentences here?
Yeah.
Make myself attractive and actually have standards.
So here's what we did. We've only got 3 prompts on Hinge. So the first one was I want someone who. So which is I want someone who, and then we basically did 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, notices I'm really cute with an emoji. 2, wants kids in the next 12 to 18 months. 3, supports me stay-at-home momming. And 4, likes that I'm both cute and direct with a kiss emoji. So see the top and the bottom are like invitational attractive ones. The middle 2 are the standards. Mm-hmm. The second one,
Tell me why you did it that way.
Well, I want the energy to be inviting. We're putting some pretty heavy things in here. Kids in 12 to 18 months, me stay-at-home mumming. I want the person to have a good first impression. First thing they land, notices I'm really cute. That's adorable. That's kind of confident. That's flirty.
Confidence at the
that
same
conveys
time.
Confidence. Exactly. And then because the next 2 were so direct, we sort of rounded it out with the last one where we said someone who, number 4, likes that I'm both cute and direct, and then the kiss emoji to really soften it and make it playful. So we want it to end without sounding,
Very nicely done.
Full on. Would you like to hear the other 2?
Yeah.
Other 2 prompts? Ooh. So the second one was the way to win me over is... And our answer was, answer this question as your opener to catch my attention. And from there we put the question, which is most important for you to find in a woman and why. And we've got A, drama free, B, open-heartedness, C, gorgeous smile, and D, conflict skills. And essentially, A and C are trap answers for people who don't share our values. B and D are the correct answers. So we want answers that sound good but are not aligned. There's no point saying, for example, What type of person are you? Someone who's loyal, someone who's not loyal? Because everyone's going to put that they're loyal. So you need an answer that people without your value that you are looking for would want to click on to make themselves obvious. So if you say, I want a woman who's drama-free, a lot of guys who don't do a lot of relational work or just think that all conflict is bad are going to click on that because they're like, oh yeah, drama-free, cool man, yeah, sounds good. So,
yes.
So you catch them with the trap answer.
Sounds promising. It's like, that
sounds
a good
promising.
Answer.
Or even good, gorgeous eyes and smile is like, well, that's not really going to make a relationship. So we have a couple of those. And then the last one is just, what if I told you that, this one we could honestly change. It's not been as powerful as the others, but this one was, what if I told you that I have a relationship coach? It's to help me remove any bad habits and be the best partner I can be. Smiley face. Bonus points if you do too. So just putting it out there on the table, not being ashamed of it.
Awesome.
And guys sometimes comment on that one as well.
Nicely done, Mark.
So those are examples of how we do that. So there you go, Teal. Any questions on that? On my
I
work?
love it. I love it, and it's working. It's absolutely working.
It's filtering them well.
And I just want to emphasize again how much I love what you're doing right now, because it's modeling and demonstrating that it is safe to speak your needs. This is something I'm working with a lot with my clients right now. Multiple clients are really struggling with feeling comfortable and safe to actually have needs and speak those needs and not feel like you're going to make men run for the hills if you have needs.
Yeah.
And I know we talked a lot about on a previous episode about needs versus neediness, but it's so empowering and attractive when you actually own what you need and who you are, when you do it in a fun, playful way.
Yeah, and I would add, without restricting the man's autonomy in the process, and that's something I sort of alluded to a few weeks ago, so not to talk about here, but if you can really get your needs across so that they are heard without him feeling, I don't get a choice, I'm restricted. If you hand it over to him and trust his masculinity and trust that he will show up, 9 times out of 10 he will. But if you say you have to do this and really force it down his throat, 9 times out of 10 he has an instinct to run away. So I think that's an important demarcation there.
Yeah, for sure.
So Teal, moving on, we got a bit of a game here that I thought we'd play on this episode. We're going to hit each other with 4 quick fire questions. Listeners, I don't know what Teal's going to ask me. I think Teal does have a bit of an inkling what I might ask her, but I'll try to be surprising nonetheless. Should we do one at a time, Teal, or should we hit with 4 in a row?
Let's do one at a time.
One at a time. All right. Your first one.
Okay. These are all would you rather questions.
Okay.
So, yes.
I hate these. All right. Difficult decisions incoming. Yep.
Would you rather accidentally match with one of your clients on a dating app if you weren't married?
If I'm married?
If you're not married, if you weren't married.
Oh, accidentally match with them.
Hopefully
So I haven't.
Not on the dating apps if you're married, Mark.
That's true. Yeah,
So
that's a bit of a messy situation.
Match with a client on a dating app, awkward, or have to coach your ex on how to find love.
Oh God.
Both of them suck.
Both of them suck, but they're very different sucks. I can imagine coaching your ex as a bit of an ego trip. It's like, oh well, you didn't get me, but let's go find you someone. Like you'll be fine, you'll be good. I'd probably rather coach the ex. Yeah, I coach the ex. She can come to me and be like, yes, it's okay. You didn't get me, but we'll figure you out. Now, if I've been dumped, no, it's the other way around. If I've been dumped, I do not want to be coaching my ex. Imagine that. Oh my God, Mark, I can't be with you. But can you coach me to get someone better? Holy, absolutely not. Don't ever come near me again. So that would depend on, yes, whether I was the dumper or the dumpy.
Okay.
All right. Teal, would you rather give up kissing or foreplay?
I mean, isn't kissing kind of foreplay?
Well,
to be
not for the
honest.
purposes of this question. You have to separate it. I've lip kissing, we're talking about. Lip kissing versus general, all other things foreplay.
Oh, you know what? I really love kissing. So I'm going to say I would rather give up foreplay.
All right.
Yeah.
Give
To
up
me,
the foreplay.
there's such an energetic connection that comes from a kiss. Maybe that's just the way I
Okay.
kiss.
Maybe that could just be your foreplay. It's like kiss and then bam, we're off. We're going.
Watch out. Okay. Would you rather always have amazing first dates that never lead to anything, or awkward first dates that turn into a great relationship?
Definitely awkward first dates that turn into great relationships. Best first dates sounds really depressing because you'd be just getting really high and then just being disappointed
over and over again.
That I mean, I guess if like awesome first, maybe 20-year-old me would give a different answer because at that age you don't have any relationship values. You're like, well, awesome first date sounds like sex is included, so I'll just take all the awesome first date days, one after the other is great. But no, that would be old me. All right, your turn. If you were single, would you date a sex worker? Assuming that they had other values that aligned with you, blah, blah, blah.
No, and this is nothing against you. And well, you didn't do sex working, but your dancing days. I mean, there's just too many creepy diseases going around. I just wouldn't take the risk.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, actually, I have a question on that. I guess this doesn't really apply in reverse. But I was going to say, what if they just did... I was like, what if they just did solo porn? Not really a thing with men, but let's pretend that they were
a porn worker instead of a sex
but they weren't doing like couples porn. They were just doing solo porn. So no disease risk.
Oh, okay, no disease risk. So it's just the idea of them being that sexually open.
Yeah.
I would probably be open to it just for my own curiosity and how I could grow into my own, learnings in that realm, but I wouldn't want to be bringing them home to the family. Let's just say that.
That's fair. That's fair. I get
no
that.
Thanksgiving invitations. Let's see. Would you rather have a date who overshares way too much or one who refuses to share anything at all?
Oh, God. Oh, I mean, probably overshares too much because you'll get away from her after one date. With the ones that don't share at all, you go, oh, I want to crack this one open, and you spend years of your life chasing them before you finally realize you're never going to be with them. So I'd probably take the one that I get away from quickly because it's
crash and burn. He takes the crash and burn approach.
Save me some time. Just put me through hell, but leave me alone after that. Yeah.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
one for you. Okay. Would you cut off all your hair if Spencer asked?
Oh my God. Well, first off, Spencer would never ask. I once just cut off.
That wasn't the question.
I once got bangs, and he made fun of me for years about getting bangs. He called me Bangs McGee.
Really? Bangs McGee.
It was the worst. It was
so bad. Can you bring a photo to the season finale of you with bangs, please?
Oh, God. Okay. I
really
don't
want to
like
see
it. I don't like it.
I'm really curious to know what you look like with bangs.
Ladies know what it means. Like what happens when you get bangs if you're not meant to have bangs. It's frightening. Anyways, so he would not ask me to do that. Would I do it if he asked me to do it? No. I love my hair way too much.
What if he said half?
Cut it in half?
Like half.
Or like short, like a bob cut?
Yeah.
I would say let's start with a wig and see if you really like it before I really go there. Yes.
That's fair.
I got a real love attachment to my hair, and I've cut it short before, and I hated it, and it's like,
Okay, that's fair.
It's a part of my identity. Okay, last one for you. Would you rather date someone who's perfect on paper but has no chemistry, or someone who has insane chemistry but red flags?
I've dated insane chemistry with red flags. It's just a roller coaster that never goes anywhere. It's really fun at the time, so I think you need to do it at least once in your life. But it never goes anywhere. So if I have to pick one, we'd go no chemistry. But you know what? Even now as well, I think the more I mature, it's like chemistry can be built by the right actions. Of course, you can't make it electric, but sometimes that's not even healthy to have that. I would definitely rather someone that, all the traits on paper, I get along with them well, we can hang out for hours. Even sex with the most beautiful person, it's still repetitive after a while. It's still, you got to try new things. You still, the initial excitement, no matter who you're with, is going to fade with time. It'll go in waves throughout your life. But if you're good companions with good values, I know it's slightly cliche saying this, but I actually kind of feel it to be true now, because it if you've actually got a real friend next to you, it makes life a lot more enjoyable.
I couldn't agree more. And that's a real mature answer to say, because chemistry is such a huge part of relating and being in a relationship with somebody, but it's not everything.
No.
Having a life companion. I mean, that's what we're looking for in a partner, right? Is a life companion, someone to do life with.
Exactly, yeah. And someone who you can hang out with every day and actually want to talk to them all the time, even if their clothes are staying on or they're in a bad mood. And that's gonna fuel your sex life anyway. So even if you have high chemistry, you're going to end up resenting each other because you're on opposite values, or you are not giving us you're not giving me the high that you used to give me, because you're not making me the center of your world anymore. There's just so much. I often say that the higher they start, the further they fall with chemistry, with clients. So if you meet that really high chemistry person, first of all, it's really hard to make it work when it's 9 or 10 out of 10 chemistry. But even if you do, there's a big come down. It's like doing cocaine, for a year and a half, and suddenly your cocaine stops working, and you're like, this isn't working. This is sugar. Who put sugar in my cocaine? Who did it? And you start to resent the drug because it's not giving you the high it used to. Well, the same thing happens with people. It's like, if your chemistry was out of this world, eventually that's going to fade, and then you have this big come down from the way they used to make you feel to the very average way they sometimes make you feel now. And that come down, it leads to a lot of resentment and unmet expectations. So better to start a little lower so you don't have such a big high. I was literally talking with a client an hour ago, just before this call. She's like, Mark, on paper, he's so healthy, he treats me well, he's most of the things, if not all the things I wrote on my vision. I don't obsess over him when I'm not around him. I have a great time when I'm with him. It's just that when I'm not around him, I'm like, why aren't I obsessing over him? Why aren't I just thinking about him all the time like every other partner I've had? I think it's because he's the first healthy partner I've had. But she's genuinely uncomfortable. She's really struggling to be like, I don't know if I can do this. And I said to her, this is probably, based on my assessment, this is probably where your growth is right now, is to kind of learn more about this discomfort that's coming up within you, because it's actually not a good feeling. Oh, love, it's going to feel amazing. You're going to find the perfect person. Then you find someone who's really healthy, and you go, this doesn't feel amazing. This feels kind of uncomfortable.
Kind of boring.
So it's boring sometimes. I'm not obsessing over them. I'm just happy and relaxed. What the hell?
I was literally having the same conversation with a client of mine yesterday as well. Yes. I'm like, You've made it to healthy, secure land. Yay, congratulations.
Like,
she's like, this feels weird.
I don't know if I've ever told you the kitchen and the library metaphor. Have I ever used that one on you?
No, tell me about it.
Sometimes when you grow up with trauma, instability, love is like a roller coaster. It's like growing up in a busy kitchen, a sous chef kitchen. People are yelling, there's pots and pans and clanging and blah, blah, blah. All your relationships feel like that. And then suddenly someone picks you up, puts you in a library, and that's what your relationships are now. And you're sitting there and you start gripping the table, being like, where's all the noise? What's wrong with this place? You throw a table up in the air, throw a book at someone. You're trying to make it, and the nervous system becomes acclimatized to that higher level of anxiety. So when it's lower, it's actually quite challenging to sit with.
Yeah. But I love what you just mentioned there, which is highlighting that it's the nervous system that needs to just acclimate to the different places.
Acclimation.
Your
what a word.
System. Acclimate? Well, you said
acclimation.
So, yeah, I know.
I just think it's a great word. It was a very relevant word to bring up in that context.
Yeah, it is. It's like temperature. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just have to really get back down to a new stable temperature, and you will. And that's the thing I want to reassure ladies listening is like, you will acclimate to a different level. It may feel off and it may feel uncomfortable. It may feel boring, but it's not going to be a boring relationship. It's just your body and your nervous system learning, how do I actually get to a place of peace and calm?
I mean, she has a great time with him. It's not like she's sitting
That's
around
wonderful.
bored when she's with him. Yeah, it's just like when she's not. She's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, where's the drama?
Something's wrong that's not wrong. There's nothing wrong and it feels so wrong.
Our minds are such a minefield, aren't they?
I know.
God.
It's hilarious.
God.
All right, one more for you.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay,
one more. Would you stay married if your partner wanted to do non-monogamy?
Ooh.
Came to you one day and says, I've had a vision, an epiphany. I think I'm effingly non-monogamous. I love you, baby. This is not going to threaten you at all. I just think we should also see other people.
I guess I would want to understand deeper on the whys of why he wants, to have other people in his life. If it's purely a sexual outlet, that could be one thing. If it's I'm not feeling fulfilled by you anymore, that's a whole different thing.
Which would you feel more comfortable with? What would you rather? I have those two.
It's getting really personal.
Yeah, I know. Hey, babe. Sorry, the sex isn't quite. You go, that's terrible. Tell me something else. Well, you're not really quite. Yeah.
Actually, I'm not fulfilled by you. Oh. I think I'd be more okay with it if it was just, I want to have some different sexual fantasies that you don't want to do. I'm like, okay, go do that. That's fine. I would probably be fine with that. But if he wasn't feeling fulfilled by me and he wanted to open up a relationship to other people, yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Okay. Is that your official message that I can send to Spencer? Get his thing on it? Hey, man, I just recorded us saying this, so you're good to go.
Yeah. I guess
All right. That's sweet.
So.
Good. Spencer, shout out to you. Love you, brother. Hope you're doing well. All right, Teal, we had a question come in, and the question is, it might have been one you've heard before. It's one I hear pretty regularly, and it is, why did he commit to the next person after me? A couple of different times I hear this. Sometimes it's as a one-off, where, hey, I had this long-term partner, and I thought things were okay, or maybe things weren't quite as connected. Sorry, I should backtrack a second there. When I say long-term partner in this context, I don't actually mean long-term partner. I mean, I was dating a guy long-term and he was always quite non-committal or didn't want to move things forward. It could be a long-term partner in terms of he didn't want to marry me and then he went and married the next person after me. So I should differentiate the two. It can sometimes be I've been dating someone for a long time, he commits to the next person. Sometimes it's been I've with someone for a long time, he marries the next person. Or sometimes the worst one is every man I get seems to date me for a while, and then after me, they find someone to marry. And it happens very, very quickly. And it's a really defeating feeling, I think, for anyone, but especially women. And I talk to women who experience this, because you want a relationship, you want that commitment. And there's something intangible that just feels not quite right, or maybe it does feel right, but the guy's not quite all in with you. And then he goes and immediately seems to have almost no hesitation on his emotional availability or commitment levels when he meets that next person. Have you seen a client with this? Have you ever heard of this?
I have not actually had many women come to me for this, but I know you have, so I'm really interested to hear what you say to them. It's the classic good luck chuck scenario.
It's a classic good luck chuck. I think the first thing I'm curious about is this a pattern?
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the saying? There's a saying, once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, 3 times you have yourself a pattern. Have you ever heard that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fair believer in that, and obviously the context matters, but I'm curious if there's been a pattern. If there's been a pattern where it's very clear the client is the common denominator, then we take a really good look at how she's showing up and what is happening that she's doing or not doing that's creating that pattern. This could be a really hard conversation to have, because a lot of these women with patterns come to me, they're already feeling very insecure about the pattern, about not feeling chosen. And so to kind of, suggest that, okay, you are responsible for this, not in a you're to blame way, but just like you're the common denominator here, it can be a bit of a tricky conversation to have. If someone is the common denominator, if there's a pattern going on, then the thing I'm most curious about is, how are they shutting partners out? What walls do they have that are probably coming up that guys feel like they are hitting their head against, that they're then moving on and quite quickly going, oh, I found it. Usually I find there's some layer of either, I guess you'd call it masculine energy mistrust, or an emotional wall that comes up, and it's often not right at the start, because a lot of these women are getting guys' interest. So they're attractive, they're cute, they're pretty feminine, at least in early dating. And then it's like they hit a point, and at that point their walls start to go up, and it could be 3 months or 12 months, but they really start emotionally closing off, and the guy doesn't know how to get them to open back up and can't get to their heart anymore. And then the guy kind of tries for a while, and in his head eventually he's like, I can't access her anymore. I don't get her. He starts to feel really useless in terms of pleasing her, displeasing her. He doesn't know what he's doing with her. He's not getting the accurate or the right feedback. And eventually he says, I can't do this anymore. And he pretty quickly goes and finds a woman who's super open. And those women he just goes, oh yeah, this is how it should be. And he has no hesitancy in committing, because he's found the one sort of the one big missing piece that he wasn't finding with this woman.
So it's like she's almost highlighting the contrast that he needs to see, and then he's able to see it really clearly and find it in the next
Yeah, it's almost like this thing, like something's off with her. I can't quite put my finger on it, but like something, she like doesn't fully trust me, or she's holding something back, and I can't put my finger on it. And a lot of times that's a really hard conversation for men to have, because he may not even know what he's quite feeling, or he doesn't know how to express it to her without hurting her feelings. So he kind of bumbles along in the relationship for a while with her, trying to be good and figure it out, but it just doesn't work for him. And then after he leaves her, he sees the opposite trait in a new woman, and that open-heartedness is exactly what he was craving from his past woman. And he goes, oh yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So if you're in a pattern, that's a big one. If you're not in a pattern, one of the reasons is a similar thing. The guy just found a trait that he was really missing in you, and he had been missing that trait for such a long time. He may have spoken about that trait to you, or he may have kept it pushed down that he wanted that trait, but there was something deep that he was craving from you that he wasn't able to receive. It could be a personality trait. It could just be maybe he didn't like how introverted you are when he really got to know you and he wanted to extrovert, or vice versa. Or it could be something deeper in terms of the way you are affectionate or not affectionate. Maybe he was looking for a more traditional wife and you're much more business oriented. Like it could be anything, but it's something he craves. He doesn't know how to express it or get it. And then the next woman, he finds that trait pretty quick and goes, yep, I got the one thing I've been missing this whole time. Bam.
Yeah. So then what do you do? What do you say to women when you get to that point of clarity with them of what it is that they're doing?
Well, if they have a pattern and they are doing something, we usually work on bringing some of those walls down a little bit earlier. I'll sometimes do a vulnerability list with clients, and I'll have them write 1 to 10, and I'll have them write the things that feel 1 out of 10 vulnerable to share, right down to 10 out of 10. And we'll often start around a 2 or a 3. And as they are moving through the dating, slowly but surely, as a guy builds trust, we'll go down the ladder. And that helps them, because a lot of these clients stop at 4. So they're really good and really confident up till 4, and then they stop. So we get them to go down the ladder and make it safe for themselves to share. And whatever they're sharing, maybe they share it with me first, maybe they share it with a therapist so that they get a positive experience first. But then as they go deeper with a guy, I challenge them to share more of their feelings, more of these vulnerable things. Sometimes it could be 10 out of 10 vulnerable for me is sharing my joy over something, or 10 out of 10 vulnerable is sharing my past, or whatever it is, but you never go straight to 10. You have to go past 4 though, and don't get stuck at 4 later on in the dating. And that's a big thing. It's that open-heartedness, basically the opposite of the problem.
Yeah.
Bringing that open-heartedness in. If it's just a one-off, I usually say, look, don't worry about it right now. If you see it as a pattern, yep, okay, you can look at it then. Of course, if you feel like you have the trait and were too anxious or didn't want to bring it up around the guy, and the guy left you because you couldn't, then I would work on that trait. So he said he left you because you were closed off, even if it's only happened to you once, and you say, well, I want to be open, well then, yeah, work on it. But if it's like, he left you because he just really wants a woman who cooks dinner for him every night, and that you're just not that type of person, and he didn't even maybe say that, but that was why, that's okay. That's probably a good filter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Any questions on that part?
No, I think that's beautiful. And I love that idea of the vulnerability ladder. I think that's a great takeaway that women can take and practice that for themselves. And
that's a good one. I like that exercise. The one other thing I'll say is sometimes men, this is more of a maturity thing. It's like, do you ever watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Not in ages, but I have.
You remember the show though, right? They ask the questions, and if they get one wrong, they get knocked out. And there was a hot seat version where you ever see the hot seat version where basically they sit in the chair and they answer the questions, and if they get it wrong, the prize goes down, but they get kicked off and the next person replaces them, and they get to start where the previous one left. Did you ever see that system? So it was kind of this idea that someone could theoretically answer all the questions right, get the $250,000 question wrong, and then the next contestant steps in and has a single question for $500,000. So it's like the person before you did all the work, and then you happen to be in the right place at the right time to get the money. Well, a similar thing can also happen with relationships and maturity. Is men go through phases in life. Alison Armstrong's work is really powerful around this if you're curious to learn more. But basically, a lot of men when they're in their 20s, They are looking at, how do I build my life so that I can have a legacy, take care of my future family, and have resources so that I don't have to worry. That's kind of their main focus. And to do that usually means they need a lot of freedom. They need the ability to say yes to things, take opportunities, kind of live their lives to the maximum extent. And this also comes with the freedom to date whoever they want and explore who would be a good life partner. So there's a lot of kind of fantasy, and this time is very much idolized in pop culture as well. It's like young single guy, American Pie, like that sort of stuff. And at some point, usually in their 30s, but it could be 40s, late 20s, it varies, of course. But at some point, men start to change their associations between being single is cool and awesome and where all the fun is, and being in a relationship, not so much, it ties you down. And that starts to flip. And men start to realize, actually, there's a lot of reward in being in a relationship. And being single is, it's maybe not as good, or kind of empty. So what can happen is, if a guy's been in a relationship a long time but won't marry you, is he's still kind of in that mindset from when he's younger. Which is, if only I was single, I would just have so much freedom, and I would have this, and I would have that. Imagine what I could do, all the women I could date, all the opportunities I'd have. And so he craves that, and he ends his long-term relationship. She's devastated. And he gets out, rubs his hands together, and then says, this isn't quite as amazing as I thought it was. The first couple of months are probably magical for him. But after that, it starts to feel a bit empty. It starts to feel a bit pointless. It starts to feel a bit like, I don't really know. And that changes his associations. And pretty soon, the 6th woman he meets after he broke up with you, he's like, yeah, cool. I'm kind of done with my single fun thing, my little revisit to my single life. Where's my future wife? You? Great. I'm going to marry you. And unfortunately, it's like that millionaire game. It's like, you did all the work. And then she comes in and takes the win. But I will say it's cyclical in the sense that these things are happening all the time. So there'll be another woman out there who's had her relationship ended, and then you meet her future guy, and he's now ready and mature to be with you. So it's not like you lost. It's just like there's people at all stages of that growth. Yeah. And it's kind of like that thing. She was there at the right place at the right time, and his associations changed at the right age, and she met him, and the same will happen for you. So there's a few different clues there based on your situation.
I love that insight. I think that's going to be really, really great for women to take away and just hear. It's not necessarily you. It could just be the timing of his maturity. And
sadly, yes.
Unfortunately, yes. And yes, there's always opportunities for your own introspection to make sure you are showing up and being the best possible marriage material, wifey material.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if there's any patterns, that's where it's good to go, okay, well, it's not like I'm bad or shameful or anything like that. It's just like, well, I must be responsible for my patterns. I'm doing or not doing something that's probably creating them. So bringing some curiosity to what that could be is always good. Yeah, self-reflection.
Yeah. And so, ladies, if you are wanting some support with this and you would like to have Mark be able to guide you through this, I know you're offering free calls.
You can. Yep. Chat to my team. They'll connect you with me.
And I am actually going to be taking a little pause from the Tinder Project to go have a baby.
Well, you're coming for what? You're coming for the season finale, of course.
Yes. Yes,
you are coming in for that one, so it's not a pause quite yet, but yes. Teal will be joining us next week, and then you'll be taking a little pause because your beautiful Bubs is on the way. So, Bubs. Well, okay, hang on. I guess I made that sound like you will be coming in next week after you have the child. So, guys, we record these episodes a couple of weeks in advance. So Teal is going to have her beautiful Bubs, and then a couple of weeks after that, we're going to record the season finale.
Yes. I'm not saying goodbye, but I will be taking a little pause for the recordings of our sessions.
You'll have a bigger family next time we meet.
So exciting.
That's
so
really
exciting.
Cool.
Yes, I'm so done being pregnant. I'm so done. Yesterday I was just an emotional mess. Oh my God, it was embarrassing. But that's all good. It's all so good. I was like literally could not stop crying over the littlest things. I was just like, this is so frustrating. But it's all good. We and the listeners wish you nothing but the best in your birth. I know you're doing a kind of home natural birth, which is nerve-wracking, I'm sure. So, wishing you nothing but the best there. Thank you.
And we can't wait to have you back when you have a bigger family.
Thank you. I'll share all the details when we return.
All right, guys, we will see you next week for the season finale of the Tinder Project.